I want to take a little moment before I launch into this inquiry about why something that has been often seen as obscure or dangerous or exotic, otherworldly, like what's this shamanism gig got to do with me and my life and my problems and my challenges, and especially at a time like this pandemic time, or this changing time. What can this character or this force, this ancient archetype that's a birthright of all humans, what can it bring to you, and how can it support you? So we'll come to that in a moment, but I feel very privileged and happy to have this opportunity to share with you. So maybe join me in taking a deep breath. And it's a thing with online connection, even more important to sit into your backbone and to let the weight of your body really drop down, to remember my body's being held right now. I don't have to be hypnotized by the screen. I can be embodied. I can be myself here, not just a disembodied group of pixels, but also an embodied presence here, because your presence here matters. Your medicine, who you are, what you bring, matters. We all matter. It's one of the things that my beloved Susanna and I are really passionate about, is that we all matter. We all have something unique and precious to bring into this world and to develop and evolve. So feet on the ground and breathing, and I'm going to channel Susanna right now and suggest that you put your arms around yourself and give yourself a little hug and a good deep breath. And as you breathe out, maybe sighing a little. Letting the experiences of the day drop down with your breathing. Drop down into the ground. The more you can really rest into that sense of holding, the more present you will be, and we will be together. Because like it or not, we are actually connected right now, not just in visuals, but we are connected by a shared intent to be here together right now. We're connected by time and space, and in fact the only thing that's between us right now is space. So I'm discovering that when I allow my imagination to really be in my body, and I reach out to you, that there's a real feeling of we are here together. And this can be 30 of us, or 50 of us, or 1,000 of us, or 100,000 of us, or millions of us. And this is what we are, one of the things that we are having to reckon with in these times of pandemic, is actually what's going on in China, or what's going on in Zimbabwe, or what's going on in the north of the Arctic Circle, it matters. We are connected. We're part of one interconnected web of life, a biosphere that is made up of all of our choices and all of our actions and all of our beings. How we are matters. How we use our time, whether we're in crisis or whether we're in, a blissful moment of a window of time where some of us have been released from the crazy schedule of busyness. Many others have not been released at all. Many others, those who are looking after the ones who are suffering, not just through COVID-19, but through all the suffering that's in the world. There's a lot of people out there on the front lines, busier than ever, and it's really important for me, I find it part of my morning prayers to remember those people and just to dance a little bit for them, to breathe a little bit for them, to rest a little bit for them, to lie on the ground or breathe the air a little bit for each other, because we are connected, because who we are and what we do makes a difference in this world, because even our thinking has an effect on our body, on our emotional state, on our perspective, on our perception of what's going on. It's very powerful. The story we tell, which is the meaning we are making from any situation, it's having a profound effect. And not just us individually. If it was just me individually, in my own isolated bubble, creating my own perception, then I would be in the mythos, the dominant story of the time, which tells me that I can be separate from you, that what's going on for you doesn't affect me at all. I don't have to care or give my attention to what's going on for you because I'm okay, or I'm in my little bubble. Yeah. It's a challenge I'm finding to remember, as we're in this time of isolation, how connected we are. That's why I'm spending a lot of time doing these conversations or these sharings, because I'm super blessed. I am ridiculously blessed. I'm living with a woman who I adore on land that I love. I'm super blessed, and to just sit here and go, well, I'm all right, mate. I hope you're okay, but I'm all right, mate. It's just not who I'm talking including Suzanne, it's not who we are. I want to reach out and I want to say hello, and I want to remind us and create spaces where we can remember what's holding us, what's nourishing us, what we're being given, even if we're in a difficult situation. If we are single mama with kids suddenly at home for, all hours of the day, and no grandparents around to support anymore, or, we need to, we can, that's perhaps a better way of putting it. We have a choice to remember, whether it's sitting on the loo reading a book, where we can get away from our daughter, as Keith was sharing earlier on, have a quiet moment, moment of peace, close the door. Oh, yeah, But whatever it is, that how we can take a moment, 10-second, we call them 10-second practices, makes a very big difference. If in my busyness I go, oh, remember, I'm a child of the sun. I'm a child of the earth. I'm held right now. The great mama has got me. Gravity's got me. Breathe. Give yourself a hug. Send out some love into the world. Remember how lucky you are to be here in this body, on this earth, to experience this, to be able to take the raw material of our experience and create meaning. We're artists. The only question is whether we are conscious artists. We are consciously bringing our creativity to what we carry from our families, from our ancestors, from our personal experience. That we have the capacity to be artists with that. We have the capacity to remember that we have choice about the meaning that we're making, the story we're telling. And this is where the Inner Shaman is such a radical ally, because that Inner Shaman, Keith said beautifully, remembers that we are nature. The Inner Shaman remembers that we are nature through our physical beings. Our physical beings are made of nature, of the elemental powers. And in a while, we'll go on a little journey with the drum. I'm going to invite you to experience that. But more than that, the Inner Shaman is also connected to our spirit, to our non-physical being, to the one that dreams at night, to the one that is in the imagination, is making meaning out of all of our past. We are the sum total of everything that's ever happened. And yeah, as I was saying before, this dominant story of the 21st century and the 20th century, which has been about separation, about individuality, great, wonderful. What a relief for humanity that we can break free of some of the shadows of community and taboos and the ways that we have to live, and who we have to marry, and where we have to live, and the work we have to do regardless of who we are. That, communities were not just wonderful places of fabulous, interconnected, supported life structures where everyone listened to each other and everyone was welcome to be themselves. There was a lot of profound oppression going on. Of course, there still is. And so I believe that the hunger for individuation and individuality is a necessary part of our evolution, to know ourselves as individual, as unique beings, connected to our own dreams, connected in our own way to the great mystery. Really, to know ourselves as individuals. But to do that, we don't have to separate. And this is the challenge. How to really risk being ourselves with each other in the world. On Saturday night, last Friday night, Susanna and I were doing a ritual together. We dance, we pray, for everything that we can think of, which is quite a lot. And we dance our socks off and we communicate really deeply. And at some point, I've been having this experience, I'm sure many of you have, of anxiety. Not named anxiety. I couldn't say I'm anxious about this or this or this. Well, I could, but it doesn't really name it. It's an unknown anxiety. And, I'm having to do a lot of practice at the moment to keep myself grounded and good and remember everything that I'm talking to you about. I practice every day to remember what I'm sharing with you. But I got chilled, really chilled all of a sudden. And I was overwhelmed with cold. And I was shaking. And I was like, God, I think I'm on the edge of a panic attack here. I could feel my whole body going into cramping, and I was like, well, maybe I'm dying. Maybe this is my moment. Am I ready? Well, no, I'm not. Definitely not. No, I'm not ready to die. And then Susanna gave me a duvet. She wrapped me in a duvet, and so that I was warm. And then I heard these words. I heard, Yakov, you are shaking free a skin of fear, of contraction, that has stopped you simply being the love that you feel in this world to the degree that you can. Because it's frightening to be ourselves, to reveal our art, our artistry, our dreams. It's always a deeply vulnerable thing to share our creativity. I've just put another book into the world. The last book I wrote, Jaguar in the Body, Butterfly in the Heart, went through a lot of fear about putting that into the world and sharing very honestly my experience and the challenges of my life. Not just, oh yeah, I had this amazing experience, aren't I amazing? But actually I was, really struggling a lot of the time and being quite an idiot a lot of the time. And I say that with a sense of humour and kindness, but I was, not living up to what I knew. Or I was challenged very deeply with my own limitations, as we are in our life. So we need resource. We need allies. We need to remember through the physical body and through our imaginal self, our spirit, if you like. And the inner shaman bridges the world, the imaginal world of spirits, of dreams, of stories, of desires and hopes, things that are often beyond our own consciousness, or they might just be coming into consciousness. What we are here to bring into this world. That imaginal self and our physical self that knows itself as earth, as fire, as water, as wind, that knows itself as rooted as the tree of life, as fluid and strong, as breath, as movement, as dance, as letting go, as shaking, as acknowledging truth. So coming back to that moment on Friday night, once I acknowledged and I said, I'm afraid of letting go and just being more myself with you through this camera. And the second I acknowledged that, my body completely calmed down. Like in an instant, I was completely calm. And Then I went through another wave of it a bit later on. I acknowledged it again, completely calm. And that's true for me. I think also because I've done a huge amount of being okay with embodying fear. It's one of the things we do in movement medicine and in the dance, in working with that inner shaman that is embodied movement, that is unbroken intelligence of life. One of the things we do is to learn how to move with our experience of life, not to limit that, but to embrace, like that Rumi poem, to welcome all these uninvited guests and dance with them. So the inner shaman is that part of you. It's very old. It's as old as your bones. It's as old as the material that your bones are made from. It's as old as your blood. It's as old as the material that your blood comes into being from. It's as old as oxygen, as breath. It's as old as the light of the sun or the stars. It's ancient. It's been here a long, long time, experiencing everything. Everything. That part of you has been experiencing everything. Everything that you can imagine and everything that you can't. That part of you knows itself as the collective or the collected experience of life up until this moment. And the body is, in a way, the shape or our relationship with the body is in a way the shape of our experience up until now. How we allow it to move, how we allow ourselves to receive the breath, to love life back, how we allow ourselves to receive what life is giving us all day and all night. A beating heart, a body that more or less works. For most of us, I'm sure, food on our table, a roof over our heads, clothes on our back, the time to inquire into what is this inner shaman. There is so much for us to be grateful for, and I don't mean gratitude like sugar on shit gratitude. Like, oh yeah, let's do a new agey. Yeah, I'm grateful. Thank you. I'm grateful for everything. I'm grateful for everything, with a kind of fixed, rigid smile on the face that's like, wants to, destroy because we've been told you should be grateful. No, not that. The actual experience of life moving in your body, the mystery of your experience, the mystery of the experience of that inner shaman, and how that part of you can move, can be of this earth, can give shape, form, movement to your experience, can dance, can be a dancer, can learn to be as grounded as the rock of Dartmoor, to be as grounded as the foundations of your own building where you're in right now, to be as light and spacious as the wind. To really, like 10 seconds. I remember. I'm the wind. I'm free as the wind. I'm the breath. I'm the wind. Oh, to bring a little of that space into the body, to share that with the people around you. To share it. To share your knowledge of life. To embody it. To have the courage, the ground, the fire. To have the grandfather, the heat of that beautiful sunlight at your back saying, yes, go on, shine, go on, because you can, because you are sunlight. And because the way that the sunlight comes through you is utterly, utterly unique and beautiful. To know yourself as the depth and the stillness and the mystery and the power, the shape-shifting power of water that can be fine mist, or the force of 1,000 miles of ocean and wind crashing on a beach as a wave, or thunder, or a deep still lake or a river that leads you back to the ocean, back to those depths. To remember, I feel in my body, just as I'm speaking these words, a calming, a fluidity, a remembrance of that capacity we all have to be connected to these elemental powers. And in that way, to have the ground, to allow ourselves to feel what we feel. When we have those resources, you know, the reason why feeling can be so overwhelming for so many of us is because we haven't learned these basic skills that are completely natural to us human beings. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we were learning those skills in nursery school? Oh yeah, I am the earth. I am the earth. My body is the earth. Let's play earth. Let's play elephants. Let's stamp our feet. Let's play wild horse. Let's play wind. Just to remember the power of our imaginations. This is the inner shaman. They are a dreamer. They're strong. They're resilient. They've been here forever. And they're not afraid of dying because they know they just go, they become everything again. And then part of them, maybe that essential, core, eternal aspect of individuality that we are somehow continues its journey. Maybe. Isn't it wonderful that that's a mystery? Kind of scary, kind of wonderful. Depends what mood I'm in. Don't know about you. But I do know that when death is in the room, as it is now, this fear of illness and sickness, and then for many the reality of that. When death is in the room and we recognize that everything is impermanent. I was speaking to Manda Scott the other day, and she was saying, Manda Scott, who's an amazing author, she wrote the Boudica series and many other things. And she was talking about, you know, to make the changes we needed to make in our world, it would be a bit like a jumbo jet in mid-flight trying to turn itself into a helicopter. It's just not going to happen. It's an impossibility. And we were told these things are impossible. We can't do this or that. But within a few weeks, things that we thought were utterly impossible have just happened. It's kind of shocking. And it's the unknown. We're being confronted with the unknown in a way that for many of the world's population live with that reality and have lived with that reality every day for forever. But if we've lived in the relative stability of modern times in the Western world, we've kind of got used to, we kind of know, we can sort of predict a little bit how things are going to be. And suddenly, boom, massive shock to the system. And what are we going to do with that? What are we going to do? We need resources. So I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to play a drum for you. And I'm just going to give you the opportunity, if you will. Just checking the batteries on my microphone. Looks okay. Good. I'm going to invite you to experience a little of this, just in a gentle way, for yourself, in your own way. A couple of things before I start with the drum. Important that you really look after the body. This is physical practice. You could sit down if you want. You can stand, you can move. But if you do stand and move, please make sure that there's nothing to trip over. Make sure always primary your well-being, your physical, mental, emotional well-being is your priority. So if you feel uncomfortable, stop or slow down. Just keep your awareness rooted in your physical body. That's the invitation. For the inner shaman in our world, we need to begin our work through the body. We need to begin by bringing our attention to the body, as we did earlier on, letting the weight drop down, your physical weight, the weight of your feelings right now, the weight of your thoughts. Letting the drum help you to be a little more aware of your physicality, the sensation in your body, your feet, your ankles, your lower legs and knees, your thighs, your hips and pelvis and backbone. Breathing, your rib cage, your shoulders, your elbows and lower arms, your hands and wrists and fingers, your head resting on your shoulders, letting the weight drop, letting the mind focus in this experience of receiving your own body, the intelligence that lives this body. This intelligence is movement. Breathing deep, settling in, letting the body move or rest, listening letting the heart and all that you feel be held, letting it drop down through those roots, down into the ground, so the heart right now is supported by the loving embrace of gravity. This means that everything that you're feeling right now is supported by this loving embrace of gravity. Even if you're up in a high-rise building right now, letting gravity be the messenger of the great mama, holding you, holding your experience right now, holding your heart, letting yourself receive and remember. I am held. I am supported. My heart, my thoughts, my worries, my hopes, my dreams, everything held, supported by the great mama right now. Letting any anxiety, fear, worry about things that are out of your control, letting that also be held, drop down, letting the body release, making space within you. Imagining this body now opening up through the backbone, through the top of the heart, through the arms, through the fingers, reaching up towards the wide open space of the sky, the wind, the air moving freely, the infinite space around us as we sit here in the body, breathing in just a little bit of that wide open space, universal space, empty space. Breathing that in to the body, all the way down into the roots, as if the sun and the sky and the moon and the stars are sending you a little bit of this remembrance of the wide open space of this universe Here I am in a body on this earth, connected to this spaciousness, just calling enough of it into my body, into the space around me, the warming presence and illumination of the sun, the reflected light of the moon, shining in the space around us, giving us this sense of empty space, space in which to listen. And in this blend of physicality of your body and the imaginal space all the way around us, bridged by your heart, if you will, calling to this ancient archetypal birthright energy that is the inner shaman, that is this part of you that understands your place in this great web of life, that understands where you come from, that you have an ancestry, that you have a story, that you go back a long way, that you have wisdom, wisdom of the earth, wisdom of the stars, wisdom of the falling rain, wisdom of the wind, wisdom of the light, the new birth of the sun, and a new season of growing. And if you will, calling this archetypal energy into your body, heart, mind now. And asking them to support you, to help you to be a little more present, to recognize your resources, to recognize the power you have to change your state, to evolve your story, to be part of dreaming a new dream for yourself, for your loved ones, for this web of life that we belong to. Calling in an evolution that dignifies the suffering that is happening in this world, that dignifies it by giving the meaning of learning lessons individually, in our relationships, as nations, as continents, as traditions, as a species, that our understanding of what this gift of life is and how little in control of it we actually are, how we are part of it, and we forget that to our own suffering, we forget that to our own trouble. Taking responsibility for our place, for the creativity and the wisdom of life that is this inner shaman. It has many other forms too, but this one is particular, as they all are, calling this one to look into your situation right now, and if you will, to commit to dreaming an evolution from this time. Letting the body remember what supports you, what holds you, that spaciousness of the open sky, the bright sky. No pressure to find an answer, just the fascination of embodied imagination, inquiring. Little while, very shortly, I'm going to invite you to return, to bring your focus back from this journey just into your immediate environment, feeling those feet on the ground, the support of gravity, letting whatever you have received really drop down with the breath, receiving it like warmth of the fire, like nourishing rain, receiving this, the medicine of this journey, into your physical being, to bring healing, strength, resilience, wherever that is needed right now. I'm going to drum 9 beats, and on the 9th beat, please gently open your eyes, give the body a little shake if you've not been moving. Make sure that you are present, and then gently bring your attention back to the screen. Deep breath now. taking a little moment to land back in this space together so we can be together a little more.